Hello there, traveler. If you're seeing this video, it means you need to make something delicious. Why not join me in the kitchen? Today, we're going to be making a stout pumpkin pie inspired by a Nick Sharma recipe. To begin, we'll need to make the crust. I'm going to take this 9-inch tart pan and create a small parchment circle for the bottom by taking a square, folding it on itself, and cutting out the rounded outer corner. I'm going to just slightly grease the bottom, flipping it over and resting it on the bottom of the tart pan, and setting that aside for now. Then for the dough, we need to cream together 55 grams of softened butter with 50 grams of brown sugar until it's, paddle it until it's light brown and fluffy, which will take about 5 minutes, then add in 1 egg until incorporated. Then we can add in the 200 grams of almond flour and a half teaspoon of salt until a dough forms. Moving back to our cutting board, we can then work this into the tart pan. I would recommend taking a piece of parchment paper and use the back of a measuring cup to get this worked into the pan. It can be quite sticky, but you could use your fingers, but it will help you get a smoother surface by using the parchment paper method. When that's all worked in, we can dock it all over with a fork, cover it with another piece of parchment paper and some pie weights to go into the oven. Feel free to either use store-bought pie weights, beans, or rice. This is going into a 350-degree oven for about 15 or 20 minutes until the corners of the crust start to brown. Let it cool for a bit before taking out the pie weights and off the parchment. And when it's completely cool, a little trick you can do is melt about 3 tablespoons of dark chocolate and paint the crust with it to help form a barrier between the crust and the filling. Let's get working on the filling now. To begin, we need to make a beer reduction by taking our stout and reducing it over medium-high heat for about half an hour, stirring it occasionally until it reduces to about 1/4 cup. We then need to let that cool completely before working on the rest of the filling. To make this easy, let's move to our blender, adding in 1 can or 425 grams of pumpkin or sweet potato puree, then our beer reduction, 100 grams of brown sugar, 85 grams of honey, 3 egg yolks and 3 whole eggs, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, 1 teaspoon of ground cardamom, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon salt, and 120 milliliters each of heavy cream and whole milk. We'll also need a cornstarch slurry of 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and 1.5 tablespoons of water. Blend that until homogeneous, and then let's move back to the saucepan. Add in our filling mixture, and we need to stir or whisk this constantly until it comes to 165 degrees Fahrenheit or until it is noticeably thickened. We can then work it through a sieve and eventually pour it into our crust. This can then go into that 350-degree oven for about 35 minutes, or until it slightly jiggles only in the middle, or until it reaches 185 degrees in the very center. We then need to let this cool to room temperature before taking it out of the tin and tasting it. Okay, so I am still not the biggest fan of stout, but I really did like this pie. It had a nice complexity to it from the stout and a slight beer aftertaste. Obviously, since the pie comes to 185 degrees, you're not going to get tipsy off of it, but I think this would be a lovely hearty pie for the fall season. Also, please enjoy this outdoor shot of the pie. Okay, thank you. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. If you have another request for a recipe that includes stout, comment it below, and maybe I'll add it to the rotation. I'm a new channel, so this really helps me out. Stay safe out there, traveler.